So let's get started. What you're going to need is a clean bench. You're going to need a pattern. You're going to need some cold mold compound, something that doesn't require a vacuum. I found this Belicone Belicold 2-part silicone, works great. A scale to weigh your mold compound. Some wax to coat the mold and the pattern. Mold frame, this is a homemade jobby, works just fine. Made a lot of molds with this. And some clamps, because you got to get good pressure on this mold. You don't want a bunch of voids. And that's it. Next thing to do is we're going to coat this homemade wooden mold frame of mine with a little bit of paste wax. Just take my finger, rub it around in there real good. Just helps to get the mold out of there, or the rubber out of there. So pretty much put wax where you think the silicone's going to go. The silicone's not supposed to stick to stuff, but sometimes. You can see this mold frame I have here has two halves, okay? What I'm doing today is a little bit different than what you may decide to do, but I'm going to mold this in two halves, and the reason I do that is because I can control my parting line, and on this piece I think it's important. You don't have to cut into your mold afterwards too if you control the parting line. Obviously you don't have to take a razor knife and jam it in there and try to cut the mold in half without damaging either the pattern or a finished part, in this case a revised part. So to determine how much of this mold compound you need for your first half, I just take one part of this, okay, and put a piece of plastic inside there to keep it clean. And you can see I'm wearing gloves too, because my hands are usually dirty from doing other stuff, because I'm usually multitasking. So you want enough of this stuff in here to sit up on top of the frame just a little bit, or above the top of the frame a little bit, okay? Because you want to get good pressure. Very important. Don't try to skimp. I mean, this stuff's expensive, but you want to use plenty. Plenty being, make sure it sits above the top of the mold. Okay, you can see it's sitting above the top of the mold. Okay, I press that in there good. And I'm just using one part of this. Obviously, if I mixed up both parts and did this, it's starting to cure, and then I'm going to have to work fast, real fast, because you got 2 minutes to work with this after you mix the two parts together. So I think that's about what I need, and I'm going to weigh that. It's about 31 grams. Okay, we'll call it 32 grams. Okay, I'll throw that back in the bucket. So I said we need 32 grams total to fill this. So I'm going to weigh out 16 grams of each. There's that. And there's 16 grams of that. Now I'm going to mix these together real good. Like I said, we have 2 minutes once I get this mixed. And if you try to make the mold after that, you're not going to have very good luck because it's not going to fill right. The stuff's got to be still in its uncured form. So, that looks thoroughly mixed. So we're going to pack that into the frame. And we're going to put the frame on. Pushing that in there nice and easy to start. Then I'm going to clamp it. See that I was trying to be in a hurry there, so I forgot the range of my clamp. We are clamping her down. Okay, now we let that set up for about 12 minutes. So you can see I've taken this thing apart and everything looks good. One thing I'll explain to you, if you are making a 2-part mold with a controlled parting line, you'll have to insert something to align the 2 mold halves. In my case, it's built into the this top plate by virtue of these holes right here where the material squeezes out, and also the holes I have plugged here, which creates the negative. So I've got 4 spots here for the other half to align to. That's important that you have something. Now if you were doing this in one piece and then cutting it apart, obviously where you're inserting the razor knife at different angles and yanking this thing apart, that's going to become your alignment tool there. So it's time to mix up our molding compound for the other half of this thing, and both these cavities are the same size, so it's going to take 16 grams of each to get the job done. 16 grams of that. And 16 grams of that. Again, work quickly because you got 2 minutes once it's together. And I mean, as soon as you put the 2 pieces together, you have some of it that's together. So Okay. Then push this into the mold. And clamp. Push it together slowly at first. And put the pressure on it. Pressure side 1. Okay, now we wait 12 minutes. So I've taken this thing out of the mold frame, and the outside certainly isn't pretty, but the inside is, and I have a good mold here. And that's it. Good luck.